Good morning, everybody. If you would, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the Morgan Township Trustee Meeting, August 14th, 2023. A roll call, please.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'd like to approve the minutes for the July 24th, 2023 Morgan Township regular trustee meeting.
Second.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Motion approved.
I will entertain a motion to approve the warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment listing from 7/25/2023 to 8/14/2023. Payment number 523-2023 through 606-2023 and warrant number 12168 through 12200 for a total of $120,330.33.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay, Andrew. So,
All right. So the first thing I got is the reminder that the open house is September 16th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. All in the community are welcome. We hope to have a big turnout again this year. The big news is the UTV was delivered 186 days early. So we have taken possession of it. We also have the skid unit. So everything is assembled. Captain Fawns is working on a training program right now because, like I said, it was 186 days early. So we're hoping to have a training program in place with a clearance for drivers, and we're hoping to have it in service by August, the end of August. So
This has never happened. Not even close to this.
the delivery date was 210 days from the place of order. The
What
last
month
it would have been April or May of next year
of 24?
of 24.
And we got it now.
We got it now.
Any reason, you think?
The only thing I can assume is because we scaled down. We took all the extra lights off that were on there,
Yeah.
all the accessories, and we basically went with just a standard unit for cost-saving measures. And that's what I'm assuming is it rolled off the factory line, and they were just like, here you go.
Are we able to replace those lights or
Yeah, we're going to do everything like that in-house. So
Okay,
that's going
yeah.
to be cost-saving because Polaris was extremely expensive for a lot of the stuff they wanted, and we have people who can do that for us in-house. Exactly. So we're hopefully have some cost saving there.
Good.
And then we're discussing a color scheme and whether we're just going to put some stickers on it or how we're going to do that because we were talking about wrapping it. It's going to be out in the woods. It's going to get beat up. We didn't really want to destroy a wrap, so we'll probably just throw some stickers on it for Morgan Township and operate it as is. So we've had some garage door issues at the firehouse. The back two of the three bay doors actually were inoperable for about a week and a half until Bushelmans could get out here. All the motors are original to the building, so they were put in 93. So right now we have 4 that are still original to the building. So we're going to look at a way that we can go ahead and replace those because actually on my way over, I was told that one of the doors is having issues again, one of the old doors. So that's on the radar. The next one, I need a motion for Joe Mormon to receive his 20-cent pay increase for a 9-year anniversary, bringing his hourly pay to $21.60, effective 8/5 of 23.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right. The next one is a motion to hire firefighter paramedic Eric Weiss at a starting rate of $19 an hour, effective August 14th, 2023. Eric he was a previous employee. He wanted to come back. He's a full-time fire medic with the city of Montgomery.
What's his last name?
Weiss.
Weiss.
so moved.
Second.
Mr. Kolb?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
The next one, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The next one is a motion to hire firefighter paramedic Kylie Garland, the starting rate of $19 an hour, effective August 14th, 2023. Kylie comes to us. She's a full-time fire medic with North College Hill Fire Department. Lieutenant Tuscany actually recruited her to come out here. So these 2 vacancies, we have some people who are going to take a leave of absence for other positions. So this will help us fill out our schedule, especially when it comes to medics.
Okay, so our staffing, 7 days a week, what is it? What exactly does our staffing look like? How many people are on duty at any point in time?
So we have still the minimum of 3.
3 are on duty
3 are on duty
at all times.
at all times. So we have the minimum medic, EMT, and then the officer, or the ACO step up. We shoot for 4 because 4 is really 3, because we have people from Ross that are getting mandated. Other departments are hurting for people, and when they get mandated, of course, it affects us.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we like to have that redundancy built in, so that way we don't have minimum manning or anything like that that's excessive.
Okay,
So,
yeah, we kind of know that, but it's good that everybody hears that every once in a while, just to understand what it takes to staff this up to that level. There's a lot of people coming and going, and you're always looking for the right people. So,
absolutely.
perfect, okay.
And the next one really pains me. I was just
Wait,
saying,
we got to
oh,
approve that.
my bad.
So moved.
Second,
Mr. Brooker?
Yes.
Mr. Kolb?
yes.
Mr. Hubble?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, the next one really pains me. This is a tough one, but I would like to accept the retirement
What?
of Rob Brim
What?
from the Morgan Township Fire Department, effective August 31st, 2023. Rob served for over 30 years of this township. All the way, he held every rank up to, including assistant chief. And I would personally like to thank Rob for the years of service he's provided the fire department. Rob has been a mentor to a lot of the young people who have come through, and he will be greatly missed.
So moved.
August 31st.
So is, on the maintenance side, what I'm thinking here, it's always good to have
Yes.
on that maintenance side, like a Rob. So I'm thinking, is that something
That's going to be up to
Mark-
Rob what he would.
Mark would be interested in
I would have no problem.
going forward to the, I'm looking down the road 5 years.
If any person on the road crew wants to come and volunteer, we have no problem with that.
Well, we can discuss it all, you know.
Absolutely.
You can think about it, how you want to transition this, because you're really going to be missed over there, no doubt about that.
Just so people are clear, I am just retiring from the fire department. I'm not
I
retiring
understand.
from the township
I
yet.
understand. Well, when he first said that,
I mean, that's-
my eyebrow went up a little bit.
You know, I will still help them with fixing anything at the firehouse or getting a truck wherever it needs to go and stuff. I'm just saying that the trainings and stuff, actually going in a structure fire, it's time. I mean, 30 years is a long time to do it. I still have some in me, but I just like, you know what, I'd just as soon go out now and just, you know, it's a lot different what it used to be. And by no means do I have any beef with anybody, any issues with stuff. I just want to make that clear. It's just, I feel it's the best time for me just to go and just, because they've got people there that are staffing to play, and that was one of the reasons why I stuck with it as long as I have, is because they were short during the day and I'm always here. And you know, there's nothing says if they get into a bind and they need someone to drive the tanker, I can still drive the tanker for them. But that's why I chose the retirement instead of resigning, is that way if that's needed, I can, him or Chief Griffith or Captain Fawn's got to do is say, you're cleared for the day or whatever. So I mean, I don't know if it works that way or not, but that's what I was thinking is, but I just keeping up with everything, and I'm going to hold my fire cards for at least 2 more years, but I just, like I said.
When was the last
it's
time
fine.
you actually participated in a structure fire or actually suiting up in bunker gear?
It's been over a year.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's
And I
been
think our concern is we don't want to lose that level of support and relationship between the road department and the fire department. And whether you're here or you retire, I think that'll still continue with Mark. Like if you need the road plowed before you take a squad back a road and it's snowstorm, they're gonna do that for you. And no matter who's heading the road department. So
Absolutely.
I think it's definitely a big loss for us, but the real need that Rob filled for us was, like he said, during the day when we were shorthanded and we had a big structure fire or something, he would drop everything and go. And I think we're past that now. I think we've got enough internal staff that we don't need, not that we don't
Right.
need you, but we're not, I don't want to say it, we don't, I don't want to say need, but we don't need that support from the
Right.
road department now.
Your support has changed.
Right.
So-
Our needs changed for what we need for you to fill, not that we don't need you. And I just wanted to clear that.
Give Rob a chance to spend some more family time too,
Right.
just like all of us, you know.
He
And,
likes those razors, I hear.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to talk to wife and let me buy one, so if she's listening, hint, hint.
Good,
Well,
pitch.
we'll be missed, but I totally understand.
And again, as I've had a lot of good memories with the fire department, it's just things are evolving. It's a whole different ballgame than what it used to be, and they've got the staffing to during the day like they need, and it's just time to move on. And they get some new people. They can use my gear now, so I don't know if anybody's that big or not, but
We can.
all right, well, big shoes to fill, but thanks for all your
So did we
your
get that
contribution.
approved?
We got a motion on the floor, and I'll second.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Give me my applause.
Good job.
And as much as Rob doesn't want it, we'll be planning something for his retirement at one of the September trustee meetings. So,
Just let him drive the Polaris.
yeah,
He'll
exactly.
enjoy that.
And I'll have one more thing after Tina does hers. So,
Okay, great. All right, Rob?
On my township report here, just all our paving has been completed. We were just waiting on all of our paving has been completed. We're just waiting on our striping to be done. Ross Township has a few issues with some bad spots on their part of Morgan Ross Road. So we're waiting for those to be repaired first before they do the final line striping, because they are using what they call a thermoplastic marker, which lasts longer than just traditional paint. And it costs quite a bit more, so that's why they're waiting till they get that.
Isn't it brighter too?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it'll last longer than the paint.
Yeah.
But there's 4 different spots on the Ross Township end of Morgan Ross Road that have already broken up, and we're only 2.5 weeks after they paved it. So Jurgensen's got to come back in and make those repairs and stuff. I have no idea when they're coming back to do that. They haven't told us that. They just, in the meeting we had last week, we addressed the issues with some of the stuff that happened. We addressed the issues with the cost overruns and stuff. We still don't know exactly how much we're looking at a cost overrun for the extra pavement repair we had to do. I'm still hoping that they can pull some of the, from like Race Lane Road and other stuff to cover what was done, but I don't know those numbers yet, so.
So on the Ross issue, 2 weeks or so, the road started breaking up. Who's responsible for that? Ross? Is that going to be overrun for them, or is that Jurgensen's fault? Because it sounds like the base is the same issue we had. We just did it before they put the final coat on. We
Correct.
fixed it. So is that bill going to go to Ross? If not, then I think we should go back to them and say, we bit the bullet and did it before you put the final coat on.
Right. I'm not for sure how that's going to work. I mean, that's, the next meeting is the 22nd on was with Jurgensen that the county's having. I'll make sure that I'm at that meeting on the 22nd and address that issue. Is like, the only good thing is all this had happened is when they was paving and their big trucks were getting along the edge of the road and broke it down when they was finishing the northbound lane. They was on that southbound lane that had been paved first, and it broke up with their big heavy trucks, and we had none of that happen on our part.
Right.
So that is a good thing that I don't think we'll have to worry about that popping up. But it's my understanding that I believe Jurgensen is going to pay to grind it out and fix it, but I have not heard that for sure. So I'll get there at that meeting and find out exactly what's going to happen, and then if they do, you say, well, you broke up our stuff and would cost us an extra $20,000 for pavement repair. What's the deal here? So,
Right, because ours broke up because they were diverting the traffic over to one side, and they were getting off the side of the road, and it started crushing
right,
breaking
but
down the
then
side.
it was brought at our meeting on this past Tuesday with the county is, they do this, what they call level planing, where they did more on the edges than they did in the center, so they made it thinner, and that's one of the reasons why it broke up so easily, because they took 1.5 inches, 2 inches of asphalt off the outside edge, left it in the middle. They're saying that maybe on these roads that we're getting estimates for next year, maybe we ought not do that. Maybe we ought to put a reinforced course on first versus planing to level the road up and then put a finished course on it. The only problem when that happens is then you get a thicker road base, which in a way is a good thing, but then you have deeper drop-offs on the edge. You got to put gravel to fill those up. When you come to driveways, you're elevated above the driveways, and you got to go over top of driveways. That includes concrete, and that has happened a lot of places where they've had to, to make the apron a smooth transition from the road to the driveway. They got to go out over people's concrete driveways, and that usually ends up breaking off after a couple years. So that's why they like plane it all. That way when you plane that off, you put the same amount you took off right back to the face of the driveway, especially concrete driveways.
Right.
That is another thing that we did have an issue with, is on the section of Morgan Ross between 748 and Lehigh, when they ground off at people's driveways, they just didn't go straight across the driveway. They like when you have your driveway, it comes off the road and you have a little turnout like apron where there's a little triangle piece there. They ground that off and didn't put asphalt back to it to replace what they ground off. And 2 property owners were pretty upset about that because they had a nice pretty looking driveway. Now they got about a 6-inch grind out spot that you can see, and there's a section of asphalt missing. So Jurgensen said they're going to repair it, but I don't know what it's going to look like, if that's going to make the people happy or not. So that's supposed to be taken care of. But anyway, they're supposed to grind straight across, that way they can just match right back up to it. So, and for whatever reason, at those edges, they went back and ground that little triangle shape off. And I kind of know the reason why, but I don't know why they didn't put asphalt back to replace it when they went across. So. Then second thing, Mr. Colbert asked me to get with Carr Singh to see when the surveying for the property could be done out here, and he's saying sometime in October is the earliest that they're going to be able to get here. He says if he can get them here sooner, he will try, but he goes, officially, I'm telling you, it'd be October before they can get here to do that surveying. We did a bunch of tree trimming on several roads, Weaver, Lehigh, Northwind, Bell, Schraden Road, trying to be proactive instead of reactive to school buses and mirrors and hitting tall box trucks and stuff. So we have completed that task. Over the weekend, Dale called me. He was here with a person on Saturday. There's a water pipe that's leaking out here. It's a big 2-inch pipe. So I got to find a contractor, a plumber, to come in and fix that. It's just a small leak, but still is enough. It caused the ceiling tile to get wet and drop. So I'm going to be working on that. Also on Schraden Road, working with the county engineer's office, the county inspector, her name is Adrian. there's 4 new homes have been built, and all 4 homes we've had issues with the driveways. Either they've put in too small of pipes, or they didn't grade the property to where all the water went to the ditch. It's running across the driveway, washing gravel out in the road. The one home, they poured a concrete driveway and they stuck it out in the road 6 inches, which kind of made an issue.
Especially when that snowplow hits it.
That's what I told them, because I called them up and I said, I'm here to tell you right now, I am not repairing your concrete driveway. If I hit it with my snowplow and it breaks a big 6-inch chunk off of it, you're on your own. I said, I know you spent a lot of money for that concrete, but I'm telling you, you should have kept it back a foot or whatever. So they did bring out a blacktop company, and they went 6 to 8 feet to the west back from it. So when the snowplow comes, it comes up on that, go across the top of their driveway and back down the other side. Is it the way that I really wanted it? No, but it will.
You wanted it cut out, didn't you?
It would have been better if they'd have cut it out, but it just would have made their driveway look bad. And I was like, you know, I know you spent a lot of money in it, but as long as you make it so I just come up and gride right over top of it, I'm fine with it. I mean, it's not really out in the road, but it's right there at the edge, and it should have stayed back a foot, because that's what most people do when they pour a concrete driveway, is they stay back a foot from the edge of the road, and this comes right up to the actual asphalt. So we made it so that problem should be taken care of. The next driveway, they graded along the west side of the driveway, so all the water runs off the hill, hits a little ditch, comes down and actually gets to the culvert pipe and goes through, instead of running down their driveway over top their culvert pipe and washing gravel and stuff out in the road. They took care of that. The next driveway, the people have been cleaning the ditch out every time it fills it back in. It's filled in right now. And I told them, I said, this time, I will clean it out this time to get it back to the exact depth that I need it to be to where it'll work and stuff, because they now have grass growing and they got the barriers to slow the water down. So I'm feeling that we shouldn't have any more issues now that they've got grass growing and stuff. So, and then the last one, the number 4 house, he's only got a 24-inch pipe and it needs to be a 36-inch pipe in there. And he says that once they start the house, they will take that out and put the new 36-inch pipe in there, because this is the second owner of this lot. The first owner is the one that put the pipe in, and then for whatever reason sold it to this guy. So this guy said it's their intentions is, I said, well, as you can see, it's washed the gravel out from around your pipe because it's not taking the water when it gets up real high. And he tried to tell me it was coming from the road. I'm like, well, I understand there probably is some coming from the road, but the majority of it's coming down the ditch here, because I've been here several times and witnessed it myself. That plugs up with debris, and even when it's not plugged up with debris, it just don't take all the water that's coming down because it's too small of pipes. So that's supposed to be taken care of. And the county got with the state, because after we paved Morgan Ross Road, the state informed us that they was going to close the intersection of Morgan Ross and 748 down to put a new culvert pipe in right after our new blacktop was just put down. So the county got hold of the state and says, you can't do this. He goes, we understand you had this scheduled, all this stuff, but you didn't get with us. This is going to look bad on the township, on the county. You got to at least hold off a year before you do this. And then the other thing is, school started up last Thursday, and they was going to have it closed for the very first week of school. So it was going to cause one heck of a headache for the schools. So they're going to hold off till next summer, till after school's out, and put that new pipe in at the intersection there. So, okay.
Why, when the state replaces a culvert, why are they going back with concrete and not blacktop?
They say it's cheaper and quicker. Doesn't require as much manpower, and they can get it all done. Once they backfill around the pipe, they just backfill it all up with the concrete right up to the level, and and they're done.
A lot of them aren't level with the road though. It's a boom.
And once you pour concrete, it's set, it's there, and then
Right.
the blacktop, you have to
Right,
work with some.
but if they don't get it just right, it does have a bump to it.
Yeah.
I know on 748, there's a few there, right down by Sunny's. There's a couple that are lower than the road.
And this is the other thing that makes no sense is they just paved 748 last year, and now they're already putting new pipes across it, so.
Put this in your notes, Rob. When they come back to do that culvert on 748 and Morgan Ross, if you go through there from the north side heading south, there's a dip on the Morgan Ross side. I mean, it's bad. It'll jar you. So ask them if they can take care of that while they're doing that. I'm sure they'll try to level it out because I don't know if Jurgensen did that but the state's going to be in there, so maybe they can take care of it.
Okay.
Hey, Rob.
Can you go up to them, Mike?
Name's Chris Gaines, 6875 Hamilton Scipio Road. While we're on the talks of the roadways, I reached out to ODOT on Route 129, just after Baker as you're going down the hill before the railroad
Yeah,
tracks.
there is.
They just repaved that a couple years ago, but I reached out because it's almost like the heavy trucks, the boats, the trailers when they're braking down that hill, it starts probably a third of the way down. It's almost like you're pulling the road with you. Mm-hmm. And then right before the railroad track, there are two almost potholes right
bad.
next to there. So I'll sit on a porch and you'll hear, and then going over because they're not slowing down enough, and then they lose traction almost on that driver's side rear wheel. So
Okay.
I don't know if you have any pull to be able to reach out to them as well to kind of.
I
I was
bring
gonna
that
probably
to-
call like once a week just to say, hey, what's going on, that
Right.
kind of thing. So
Okay,
if somebody else looking at it too would be cool.
all right.
We go back to the new homes on Schraden. I got a call about 2 weeks ago. One of the new homes had a company out there hydro seeding their yard. And the complaint was they were tied on to the fire hydrant. So I called Assistant Chief Browning, and he was going to run out there. But we got a hold of the Water Association, and they said that it's definitely not allowed. They have to have a meter, and there's no meter been issued. So they were sending somebody out there to stop them, and they said they've had problems all through the township and other areas served by Southwest Water, that companies are, whether it's pool filling companies or what, just tying onto a fire hydrant. And there's a process to do that, and one is to apply with the Water Association and get a meter if they allow it. If they approve it, then they'll give them a meter and then charge them for that water. That water's not free. I just wanted to get that out. If anybody needs water,
Yeah, usually those places got their own trucks, don't they, Tom?
yeah, but
I never heard of them doing that.
But well, maybe they had their own truck. I didn't go out there, but maybe they had their own truck and they were filling their truck, the water truck. I don't know, but they were using the water from the fire hydrant.
From
and
what
that
I was
is
told-
illegal.
From what I was told, they was using the hydrant to refill their hydro seeder because they fill it with water and then they dump their mixture down in the tank and it agitates it all and then they blow it out. And that is theft of water, and they will prosecute for that.
Oh.
So
but
if
I
anybody
do-
sees anybody tying onto a fire hydrant without a meter, call the Water Association immediately, and they will send somebody down there.
Right,
Because
and-
like Rob said, they will
Yeah, and
prosecute.
you will know there's a meter on it because the meters they put on it are about 3.5 foot long. They're blue in color. They're big massive things that go on the side of the
I think they
hydrant.
actually have a backflow preventer
Correct.
built into them, yeah.
That's the other thing is because that is the drinking water for everybody. They want a backflow preventer on that. So like when he's filling that machine, if he doesn't close the valve to his machine and before he
it'll suck that stuff back in the water line, and then our drinking water is contaminated. So I do know that they got with that landscaping company. I don't know that there's going to be prosecution, but I do know the landscape company is going to pay for the water, and they're not to tie back on until they have a meter to put on it, for two reasons. One, it costs money to make that water. Even though they're sucking it out of the ground, it's still got to be treated and stuff. There's all kinds of chemicals that's used to treat the water to clean the impurities out of it and stuff once they pump it out of the ground. Plus, the big thing is the backflow preventer. That way they don't suck contaminants back into the line and contaminate people's drinking water. Because the one thing that I don't think people realize is that's a luxury that the water district gives to the fire departments to draw water off of it, but that's not the purpose of the water lines throughout our township. They're there for drinking water and for human use. They just allow the fire departments to get water out of it to fight fires and stuff. But if there's would be a big issue that would stop, but there's never any issues with fighting with fire trucks. It's these private contractors and stuff like that's where they run into issues. So.
Yep, so just a message to anybody that's listening, that, if you're having any work done that needs water and your contractor sees a fire hydrant and ties into it, tell them they can't do that because, a lot of pools have been filled that way, and this was another situation. So that was the only message I had.
The last thing that I have is the last meeting I told you is about some work to be done on Mark's dump truck, and I was estimating about $4,000. Well, the price come back, it was $31,51.34. It was the actual price, and I need a PO for that. So, to Bless Motors.
So much.
$3,151.34 for that new oil pan.
The stainless steel.
The stainless steel oil pan. I could have, like I was telling you at the 2 meetings ago, I could have got it cheaper with just a metal pan, but that truck's going to be around for a while. That's why I went with the stainless steel pan, so
Right.
we don't have to worry about it again.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And that's all I have, unless you have anything else for me.
No.
All right, thanks, Rob. Dale?
All right, just a Okay, actually, I say no new certificates, but there have been since our last meeting. If you look down at the page that I gave you, there have been 4 since the 7th of August. We have the lady who had a variance back in February of this year. She is now got her contractor to come in and give the addition to her house and everything else, and they will they're about ready to start to build the addition. Then I had an accessory structure on Southwind Drive, Southwind Road, I should say, and another accessory structure on Hamilton Scipio, Matt Middendorf, and then Mr. Gaines here has requested an accessory structure, a small one, and a little, I say 110, it should be 10 feet by.
I was gonna say, that's not a small one. 110 by 20?
I mistyped that one badly.
It's a
A 10 by
runway.
20 storage shed, that's all it is. It should be 120 feet. I'll have to change that in my other things.
So 10 by 20, okay.
10 by 20,
All
that's
right.
all it is. Okay, and he's doing it himself, and he's placing that on his lot.
Is that already built, or are you building?
It's a
A
pre-built.
kit?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, and anything I put a storage shed on, it's gonna be the pre-builts.
Okay.
Okay? And everything else too. Otherwise, I'll say it's a pole barn or that it's a detached garage and everything else. Any questions there or any thoughts? Been pretty steady. I go a week, 2 weeks, and then get 2 or 3 in a row. Number 2, the zoning commission's August the 2nd meeting went very well. It was attended by Mr. Wolfenberger and Mr. Young from Southwest Water, from Butler Rural, not Southwest Water, Chief Andrew was here, Mike Fons was here, and we were able to guide the commission. They were able to help guide the commission on some of the limits of output for the various tiers of solar energy facilities, and also what the fire department actually will be looking for and want in terms of our regulations. It was I think it was a very effective meeting in terms of getting us all on the same page and everything else. And within the September meeting, then the zoning commission will be working on finalizing some of the numbers that we needed to place in. And then hopefully by October, we can maybe present the finished regulations, but we'll see. At this time, I have down here no BZA concerns, but I just received a variance application from Mr. Gaines here. And I won't speak to that other than I'll let him speak to it when he speaks. I'm still pulling together documents that I no longer needed, just when I have time and I see that the spare time to actually focus on that. The trash at 2256 Chapel Road has been removed. That's easy enough for me to watch because it's right across the road and I walk onto my neighbor's property across the street, which I have permission to do and have checked that. However, the noxious weeds they've not done anything to that portion of the property where the noxious weeds are that I can tell. And I'm still working on an approach to 6210 Cincinnati Brookville Road for the inoperable vehicles that are down there. That's all I have at this moment.
All right, Dale, thanks. Chris, do you want to, let's hear from you if you're ready, and we'll let you get out of here if you're on a schedule.
Christopher Gaines, 6875
You can
Hamilton
pull that up if you want.
Scipio Road. I'm here before you guys today in regards to a concerned resident who does not have any zoning violations with their fence or stalkishly takes pictures of my property, who has had issues with us from day one, who may or may not have an issue with my race. So I'm here to answer any questions on my deck or any other questions that you have. I'll start off with a few of my own. Is there a habit of asking for measurements, coming out and taking pictures with an approved deck that is at least 5 to 7 years old? And then also, is there a permit or a fee associated with maintenance to said deck?
Okay, would you mind, let me put Dale on the block here. Let him just run down the facts, the situation behind all this, and let him just address, I think he knows all your concerns, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So Dale,
for
can
the
you
most
just
part.
go ahead and speak to that and just tell us each step that we're going down, what the problem is and where the solution is?
Yeah, I'll try, okay, because this has been on my mind for this entire week, and I'm not in a very good mood to do this, but I will work on it. Mr. Gaines, we'll start with the very beginning. Mr. Gaines purchased the property from this resident and everything else. And from day one, like he said, he's had issues. Now, this is just me understanding the history of it, because his application for the construction of his house was from the former zoning administrator. Soon after, while they were doing that, and everything else, there was a change being asked for the deck of the house that is above the house and runs around from the back side to the left side of the house near their master bedroom, and everything else. Originally, it was to be just a straight curve and talk, but Mr. Gaines at that time came in to Ed and asked to make an overhang to extend it out a few feet. Okay, now the deck stands
12 feet tall.
12 feet tall, okay? and everything else. Now, the setback on the left side is 25 feet. It is correct in terms of what it needs to be. The deck is 20, the side of the house and the deck supporting poles are 25 feet and everything else. This was going to be an overhang.
From the poles.
From the poles, from the porch, okay, from
From
the
the-
deck,
from the
from the deck
support.
itself.
The support poles.
Right.
The beams, whatever.
The beams, yeah, the joists that were coming out is going to be an overhang to extend out a little, what is it, 2 feet?
Oh, it goes by what you can cantilever. So the front side, it's the flat side of the house. In the very back, there's a 20-foot board that was notched down to 2 foot. And then as the wall comes around the corner, it's on a 45. So that same 20-foot board is getting longer on the outside. The deck comes out in kind of stop signs, octagon shape, to where it's out away from the roofed area, to where the grill can sit out there and smoke
Okay.
can billow out.
So have you measured the setback, and you know we're 25
At this point in
foot?
time, I have not measured the setback because I needed to inform Mr. Gaines that I needed to be there on the property.
Okay.
He, at that time.
Okay, hold on just a
this-
second. Would that be okay at
So
the right time?
my question goes back
validate?
to, why do you need to measure it when it's already been approved
No,
7 years
no, no,
ago?
no. Well, no, wait, Chris. It's not been approved. There's no
Yes, it
paperwork.
was.
Wait
Yes,
a
it
minute.
was.
There's
Yes,
a
it was.
letter written, but it was never,
Yes, it was.
was there a registered
have-
letter sent and the lady signed it?
No.
Okay, then it's not been approved.
There was an application, Daryl, and that was approved by the previous zoning administrator for that change.
But
The-
anyway, back to his question.
the original house
they
plan.
asked to come on the property is because they had a request from a resident, which is your neighbor,
Right.
that there's been changes made. So if there's been
Okay.
additions made,
So let me address that.
yes.
There has been nothing changed to the structure. There has nothing been changed to the deck, other than maintenance. I have taken off the existing wood that has been weathered. I've taken down the existing handrail, and I am putting back composite decking and a cable rail system handrail.
Then why do you have a problem with them just checking? That would ease it all, Chris. If it's okay, let him take the measurements and
It
approve
would, but are we going to be in the habit of going back 7 to 5 years on checking other issues or things like that?
Well,
That's just a question.
if somebody
Right.
comes back 5 years later and changes, adds.
But I have not changed it, or I have not added.
Okay, well then other people say you have.
Okay.
Well, let me jump here for
Okay.
a second. So we initially approved a 25-foot setback, correct? Correct, Daryl?
He met the 25-foot setback.
You're saying we
that was
approved it.
Required.
They
Okay,
did
we
not
would.
approve it with the neighbor next door. They didn't. She said there's never been any paperwork. She has not signed
She wouldn't approve it.
thing.
She
I
doesn't
wouldn't
approve
it.
anything.
The township approves it.
Dale, is that 25 foot? Is that our standard?
Why do we
25
cater to this lady?
25 feet.
Hold on a minute. Just hold on a minute, Chris. What, is it, Dale?
25 feet is the standard minimum setback for the
Okay,
left
all right
and
there.
right sides.
All right there. Okay. So, Ms. Schulteis then she's questioning the zoning
Yes.
guidelines?
Yes. No. Not. She's questioning that it was added on to more. Exactly.
Daryl, I have my addition. This is what I added. Here's the permit. It's approved to add the decking from the original over to my bedroom. It's approved. This is the added portion. This was done back in
2018.
date 9/8/16.
Was that Mr. Teets?
This
Document?
was Mr. Teets.
Okay.
So this has been approved to add existing deck to extend deck to master bedroom walkout on new construction. I started my house in 15, so it's new construction. The original deck was approved with the house plans with a 25-foot setback.
25 foot, right?
25 foot with
Right.
the structure. The overhang is not governed by anything.
Yeah, well, it does say it is governed by it.
What is,
In 812, it says the property is within the allowance. It can go no further than 3 feet. So did it go any further than 3 feet? Over the 25 foot?
it has.
Okay. Well, she's saying she never received any paperwork, didn't.
She doesn't need to receive paperwork for me or you, or unless you want to give her this that says it's approved.
Well, that would help, yes.
Well, I got this from Dale.
You have the copy right there. Jeff's got the copy of the original right there.
Okay.
But this all came up back in 2018, because I remember
Right.
a letter going out saying that
That it was approved, and she has a PO box that the certified letter was sent to her PO box. So I'm not like
Well, that means she
a
had to
mail
sign
person.
for it, right?
I'm not a mail person, but I would assume that if you have a certified letter, you would get a certified tag in or on your PO box. You would go get your mail. You would see that letter. You would
Right,
go
yeah.
over.
Well, I
sign
agree
for
with
that
that,
letter.
but I'm
So-
just saying, yeah, she'd have to have signed for it. So there should be some kind of,
Regardless, it doesn't. She can have it now.
yeah.
She can know that it's approved. And if she was a decent person, she could walk up to my front door and I could say, "Here it is, Susan."
Hey, Chris, keep this factual, keep this,
Yeah, this,
In my opinion, if she was a decent person.
okay.
okay.
I want to, if there's no more questions about the deck, or I've got pictures that I can show you guys that literally taking off the wood decking and going back to the existing frame with $30,000 worth of upgraded material.
Then you would have no problem with them coming and taking
I
measurements?
do have a problem because it's already been approved, and this lady
know.
has several
Okay.
infractions with her fence that let's just push it under the rug.
So you've been to court on that, Chris.
No, you have been to court. The township has been to court.
I
And
wasn't
she
there
was-
when they did it, so don't say me.
I said you as a township.
Okay.
So regardless who was here, when it was done, the township had a lawsuit. She was supposed to put animal husbandry on this property, lot 5, and finish her fence within 90 days. It's been years. But yet you want to come to me when I'm maintaining my deck and have questions and come on my property and say, we want to just measure this and make sure you're doing everything right, even though we have 4 or 5 approved pieces of paper that we have in our building, but we want to haggle you because she came and said he's doing something wrong
We
because she
got it.
has an issue with me.
We got it, Chris. Let us take this over, and we recognize your concerns and your situation, okay?
So will the fence be addressed with her and followed back up with the finishing of the lawsuit?
If we have open legal issues, we will address open legal issues.
There was no permit for the fence, and the fence is backwards.
We will address
There's no
those.
Chris, it was
animal husbandry
approved
with
in
it.
Butler County Court.
It was not.
It was not approved.
It was not improved
It
because
was
you
not
weren't there.
approved.
Okay, let us press. Let us-
I'm very frustrated because, and I can feel like it's getting heated, but like everything I have done has been above board. And I'm here constantly defending myself and my family for doing everything right. Because this lady, for whatever reason, has an issue with me. But yet, the township turns a blind eye. Why wasn't the lawsuit followed up? I let it lie because she left me alone. Let bygones be bygones. You want to live in turmoil? Do that on your property, a half a mile away from me, with a
Chris, I was
crops
at the
between
meeting.
it, a tree line,
Yeah.
a half a mile, and she's worried about my deck. And her complaint is it's going to bring my property value down.
Well, yeah.
I have a $550,000 house sitting on that lot that she's not doing anything with. She had that lot for sale. She took it off for sale.
All right, hey, Chris, we're hashing history that's good, but right now it's relevant, but in a different situation.
It's relevant because
I-
you're
I-
asking
it
to
is
come on
relevant,
my
but
property to
under-
check something that's approved,
I
and you're
understand.
not doing anything that she's in clear violation
I
of.
understand, and I wouldn't be going down this road if I didn't see a solution to this. So you have addressed the issue clearly and concisely. So let us move on and let us resolve this issue, okay?
So moving on my property, what needs to happen?
If your footprint has not changed on that property, right?
Correct.
Since
Correct.
that building permit was approved.
Correct.
I see no reason to go back onto that property and measure those pilings. Do you,
Correct.
and if the
It's
overhang,
a-
if the overhang stands, if the overhang statute stands that you can overhang that, there's no restriction. I think you said you're 3 over.
I'm over 3
Three,
foot.
and I don't think an overhang counts as far as encroachment to the property line. I think I don't see any issue. Dale,
It
do
doesn't.
we have an issue?
No, I don't have an issue with it
Okay.
because it doesn't, because as our regulation reads, and I think that's 19.2, is that right, Dale?
19.812.
Okay,
812.
Dale, listen.
182.
Here's what we'll do. We will put the zoning department's opinion in writing, okay? And put it into the record. And if anybody wants to question the record, they can pull the minutes and see what the zoning department has decided.
But before we do that, we need to talk to Ms. Schulteis. Hear her side story. We're only hearing one side
We
right
can
now.
talk to
So
Mrs.
let me
Schulteis.
do this.
But I'm saying exactly where we are right now,
Right.
and that's what we need. We can
Right.
go down all other kind of options and what ifs,
I
but
have-
not in this environment. This
Right.
is not the time nor place.
I have photos of demoing the deck, the wood on the top, and putting the wood back. Would it help to see those? I have them on my phone, or I can print them off, or I can email them. But-
We accept that at face value. What you have said you've done, we believe you have done.
Right.
We have no reason to question that, okay? So let us move on, okay?
Right on.
Thank you for time.
Thank you.
All right. All right, who's next? Dale, you got anything else?
I have nothing else to say at
Tina,
this.
Tina, let's go.
All right. I needed to discuss the prepaid propane with Premier with you guys. I gave you paperwork on it. I had to call them and ask them if they were still having their prepaid program. She said that they don't do contracts, which, yes, they do. This is from last year. But the price that they're quoting is on the email that I gave you guys. The pre-buy is $229.9, and the price will be $2,399 if you don't pre-buy. We did 10,000 gallons last year. She said, all you do is call us and tell us what you want. Okay. We ended up having about between $4,000 and $4,500 left on last year's monetary amount left.
Will that carry over?
No, they don't carry it over. I had to fix the last 4 invoices they sent us, because they charged us for the propane, even though it wasn't the end of the pre-buy season. This place is a hot mess. I don't know why, but, and then I had to say, hey, well, we have money left on this, what, are you sending it back, da-da-da? So they agreed to just use it for our fuel usage that we get for diesel and
Is
gas.
your mic on? People said they can't hear you on.
Okay, sorry. They said that they,
Okay, thank you.
okay, then we can do that. I had to call them the last 4 months of our timeline for our pre-buy and say, your bill's not right. Oh, well, we'll have someone call you. They don't call you. When I call their main office, they give me the Harrison, Ohio outlet that they have to call and talk to, and that is Susan down there. And she told me they don't have, we've never done contracts. We don't do contracts. I said, I have one from last year. She
Have
said, well,
have you
they,
ever talked to this Jeff Axum, who signed this, who was the seller?
no, you can't get past the billing department up at the main office. Then they say, oh, we don't take care of that here. You need to call the Harrison location. What state are you in? Let us give you their phone number. So I didn't know what you guys wanted to do. I don't personally want to constantly correct their bill and call them and be on the phone with them and tell them that it's not correct and fix it and mail it all back. They're not paying me.
Who did we have before this, Rob? Didn't we have Hob? Hiob?
They sold out. Yeah.
So
You wanna show-
I just don't know if you want to do prepaid or if we can just pay for what we use.
For 10
It's-
cents a gallon?
It's up to you guys.
Is it 10 cents a
They
gallon
have
savings?
been a
New
total
program this
pain.
year, And I know this because I do this at home with mine. They have a new program this year that for 10 cents more a gallon, you can just pay for it as you get it. For $2.39 versus $2.29. It's not the same as like, you know, if you don't do anything at all, you just call up in December, you know, the price could be $2.89 in December and you gotta pay that $2.89. But if you set with this new program, it costs you a dime more to do that, but you
lock that price.
lock that price in.
Is that based on a 10,000 gallon?
That's just based on when you call it in, you sit on it, that's not based on any, I don't know how they're doing that, but the only way if you do the $2.29, you have to say you're buying 10,000 gallons. And that's what we've done the last several years.
Okay.
Or maybe
Okay.
we cut it back to 9,000 one year, I'm not for sure.
So is this causing you enough consternation that we want to look for another vendor?
No, I think if we just go
No,
there and pay
we'll
the
just-
extra 10 cents a
yeah.
gallon, I think
Let's do that.
I don't think we need to have, I mean, it would save the 10 cents a gallon and I feel bad about that. But we can't
Well-
continue to correct our mistakes.
Well, that way we won't have to worry about like carrying over anything. Let's do it.
Okay,
Can you do it? Just take care of it.
yeah.
Pay the 10 cents and more.
Well, they
make it
just
the-
come and fill, don't they?
Well, you gotta call and tell them you went on that program, that 239 program, that you have to call and tell them that. They
Okay,
won't
well,
just assume that.
the email she sent me doesn't say that, but I guess I can call and tell them we went on the
I would call the
239.
lady in Harrison and tell her that's what you
Because
wanna do.
this is the only thing I could get from them. She sent this little bitty email with the two different prices. That was all they would give me. And I-
Because if you don't do that, then they will charge whatever it is
Okay,
in December, January, which could be $2.89, $3.20, whatever. But
When you call them, will you conference Rob in and just make sure we're getting what we want and what we're getting, what we're going to be expecting to have?
sure, if you want to come up and I'll call
Okay.
them while you sit there, that's
yeah,
fine.
I'll go in with you and we'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, what else you got, Tina?
Okay, let's go on. I need a motion to approve adding Fund 2908 to the Revenue and Appropriations budget for 2023 and to deposit $20,000 for a grant received by the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes,
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
good job on the grant, too.
Also need a motion to approve adding the Fund 2909 to the Revenue and Appropriation budgets for 2023 and depositing $10,000 that was received from the Johnson Charitable Gift Fund as a donation to the fire department.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Motion approved. Okay, that's all I have.
Did you?
I'm good.
Yeah, I have one thing to go along with that. So the $10,000 donation, we greatly appreciate. We need a UTV trailer. Captain Fonz has done legwork to find the best one we can through Smith Trailers. It's a tilt trailer. The hope with it is that we can add some of our rope rescue equipment with it. So that way when the UTV goes out, we have everything we will need on the scene for anything we could use back in the woods. So I need to get a PO from Fund 2909 in the amount of $6,445 for the purchase of a tilt trailer for the UTV.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr. Huff?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Daryl, got anything?
Yeah, hey, Rob, I was just wondering, we were talking about water. Whatever happened with the water down there we had and the problems we had on Alert New London down there in Shandon? Has it ever come up again?
That comes up all the time. That comes up every time it rains,
Still
and it's
doing it?
going to come up again because they have not done anything with it. But that's on a county road, county issue, and the county refuses to do anything about it because they say it's on private property.
Okay.
So
I was
I don't know
wondering.
what to tell you there
We
because
had the county out here and
Yeah, I remember, I mean, yeah.
I mean if you go
We
and look,
walked it,
if you
yeah.
go and look at all them pipes, there's buildup in between just about every culvert pipe down through there.
Yeah, and
It's just
that's
as
way
soon as
back
we
in the
have another
problem.
one of them big rains, there's gonna be floodwaters all around them houses and the county says that they've did everything that they need to do on their easement. That's private properties, people have to do that, so.
so is there anything that the county can do to mandate that the citizens that own the property take care of it? Because the water is getting over the roadway and that becomes an issue then.
Right.
I mean,
Do-
legally, can they go after them and say, you need to clean this downstream because you're affecting our drainage system, which is causing water to come across the roadway, which is a
Apparently, yeah, the culvert pipe ain't big enough at under the road pass, is it, or is it? It's going through
The
there?
culvert pipe
Well,
is.
how's it going
is-
over then?
Because
backing
the
up.
first driveway past the road culvert is completely plugged and backs it up and is backing it up into the road pipe, which in turn is not letting the road pipe flow like it's supposed to. So, I mean, that's an issue between the county prosecutor and the county engineer's office.
And that resident.
Both of them need to be in a Zoom meeting or something, or meet with them and say, hey, what can we do here? This is the issues that's happening, and
Right.
that's just my opinion. I mean,
Okay. Another thing, I want to bring up that right after Jurgensen paved Morgan Ross Road, they paved the south side, or was it the north side going up?
they paved the northbound lane.
Yeah.
They paved the southbound lane first.
Oh, yeah, and then they came back and
northbound.
yeah, when they tried to repair some spots up there around Joe Payne's place, and but anyway, me and Rob was out there. He was out there with a shovel. He had to shovel. I mean, it must have been 10 wheelbarrow full of blacktop across the road. Matter of fact, we went next door and got my neighbor's bobcat and bucket and shoveled it out by hand. It was so bad. Those trucks had broken it down, hadn't they, Rob? But we took care of that before they came back and refinished it. But they didn't do it down there at the bottom of the hill, and I think that's why they got the problem. Nobody was watching what was going on down there. But if we hadn't taken care of that right there, it would have really been bad, wouldn't it, Rob? Yeah. So, anyway, I just want to let you know, yeah, Rob was doing it by hand with a scoop shovel. And
I did address that with the contractor, which I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it was not Nick that was in the meeting with us. It was some other young fella.
William Kelly, Nuxle?
Well, Kelly was there, yeah, but this was another guy from Jurgensen that
Oh, yeah, that,
I brought up an issue about when they do the planing, there was still like a 1/4 inch of asphalt, and that's what Daryl's talking about here is when they did the level planing, they ground it off, and if they'd have blacktop back right away, it wouldn't have been an issue, but that was loose and the water was standing on the road there because it rained, and water gets underneath things and cars, it was causing it to break up, and then in turn a couple residents called and was worried that this loose asphalt, chunks of asphalt on the road would
And
cause
what?
someone
Yeah.
to crash on a motorcycle or even a car. So that's the reason why I went up there and I was trying to get all that shoveled off, and it was a lot more than what I anticipated. So that's the reason we got the neighbor to bring his little loader tractor so I could just shovel it in that loader and dump it in a driveway just down the road. But in any case, I brought their attention. I said, why wouldn't you just lower the milling machine down another 1/4 inch to get that last little bit, so it'd been down to the next level? That way that whole layer would have been ground off. Well, you just can't do that. I was like, if the inspector was on scene and would have seen that, he'd said, hey, lower that down another 1/4 inch so you're getting that last little bit instead of leaving that there.
Yeah, because it was coming up in like big pancake pieces, wasn't
Right,
it?
right.
Yeah.
And so that was an issue that I addressed with them, and obviously nothing's going to be done about it this year because we're all done, but from now on, that's going to be something that I'm going to request, is that if you're grinding out, even if you're doing a level planing, if you're leaving a 1/4 inch, lower that machine down another 1/4 inch to get that last little bit. Don't be leaving that there, because
It will break up.
that could cause a failure down the road, so.
Yeah. But our part looks fine now, so, but down there at the Ross side, but it's on the Morgan Ross side, but that's the section that Ross takes care of, so we're gonna get the blame for it, I know, so. Anyway, okay,
We already have, because it's on the, people from Morgan are calling me complaining about it.
all
But,
right, I knew
but
you would.
it's on the Ross end that Ross maintains. So, and Ross is dealing with it. They're met with the contractor and they're meeting with the property owners, because,
There's about 3 places, wasn't
there was the first 2 places, and then the third place is where this gentleman was all upset. It's back where Peck's place is. I don't know if you're familiar where that is. There's 5 or 6 homes that are back to this private drive that all have Morgan Ross addresses, but they all have one common drive. And where they ground across there, they said they didn't make a smooth transition from the new pavement to there. So Ross is dealing with that on. But those people had called me complaining about that.
Isn't that Peck's Drive, isn't it a gravel lane? Is it gravel? It is, I think.
For the most part, yes, but
Yeah.
right off the road, it is asphalt, but
Yeah,
the original,
it's where it
right
meets,
off the
okay.
road, the original is all broken up, and it's not a nice blacktop anymore, and
Yeah.
that's where there's the issue is. So Ross is dealing with them on that. Even though all that is in Morgan Township, that's on Ross Township's maintenance part.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Okay.
Yep.
I received a message from a resident on Millville Shandon that approximately 12 years ago, the township initiated an address change for his residence. And his original address was 2652, and his new address, as of 12 years ago, was 2520. He said it hadn't been an issue until recently that the USPS, United States Postal Service mail carrier, won't deliver anything that's addressed to 2520 to his house. So I looked on the county auditor. All legal identification of that property is 2520. I don't know where the 2652 came up. I talked with the fire department, and they said that there was an issue quite a few years ago of addresses, so to make it easier, they asked for them to change it. That has to be recorded, so my next step is to contact Danny Crank, the county recorder's office, and try to get some idea what we can do, if anything.
Hey,
'Cause
Tom,
typically we don't get involved in addresses and things like that.
Yeah, did you go down and look, see where that address was? It's not back that
Yes,
lane,
it is.
that Norman Lane?
Yeah, that's why, but it has a Millville Shandon address.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but if you Google map it, the funny thing is if you Google map that property, it comes up 2652 and 2520. So there's an issue, but what he needs is some formal letter sent to United States Postal Service to identify that as his permanent address. But I don't know why it's an issue after 12 years or 15 years. But so I'll be working on that. That's all I've got.
Okay. So we'd like to thank people who have contributed and donated to the park district as we construct it and go forward. And we were in the process of getting together a donor plaque to recognize all the people who were kind enough and generous enough in the township and outside of the township and we should be able to produce a version of that very soon so we can publicize that here in the township, and as we go forward that those contributions are duly recognized. Also, we know how proud we are of our grandchildren when we have them and they do great things. And we just want to recognize one of our local residents, Neil Westridge. His grandson was signed by the Philadelphia Phillies, and he's very proud of that. And I think as a township, we're very proud of one of our own when they become excel in their career field. So congrats to him.
Professional, yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. So at this point, do we have anything from the audience that anybody else would like to make mention? Going once, going twice?
Okay. Was you, no executive session?
No.
Oh, okay.
No executive. Going third, and this concludes the Morgan Township meeting, August 14th, 2023 at 11:12 a.m. Thank you for coming.
No motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Let's do a motion to adjourn. I may entertain a motion to adjourn.
You just
make
shutting
a
us
motion?
down.
I'll second that.
We got first, we got second?
Mr.
Roll
Huff?
call, please.
Mr. Brucker?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Yes,
Motion approved.
yes. Thank you, everybody.
No.